The Stevensville school system recently implemented a new drug awareness program for its K-8 students. It encompasses much more than just drug use. Russ Thomas tells us how this program helps kids understand the choices they make now can affect the rest of their lives.
So all you can do is say you're going to try to get them.
Stevensville police officer Sam Fawcett took on the role of student resource officer for the Stevensville school system 4 years ago. His presence and ability to relate to students of all ages has in part resulted in a decrease in drug-related incidents. 2 years ago, Fawcett and the school system implemented a new program for K-8 students called Too Good for Drugs. Fawcett likes the program's comprehensive approach.
It's not just drugs are bad, drugs are bad, drugs are bad. Kids get drugs are bad. You know, we're teaching life skills with it. So we're teaching effective communication, we're teaching goal setting, we're teaching decision making, and all those things pull together, and the kids learn that it's a lot more than just saying no one time. It's the whole process of going through it and what do I want from my life.
Fawcett says he looked over dozens of choices before opting to go with the Too Good for Drugs program. He says it is interactive and extends beyond the classroom, encompassing administration, staff, and parents. The curriculum builds upon itself and brings in unique concepts that are grade relatable.
I think the kids enjoy the personal stories because this can be adapted. You know, I don't have to read just off a script. I can adapt it from telling stories about emotions to a situation that happened with me, you know, or in kindergarten I have puppets that I use and puppet voices, and so, you know, making those puppets relate to them.
As the resource school officer, Fawcett is able to see the results of this program and the effectiveness of his presence on a daily basis. He says being able to meet with and teach to every K-8 student has given his students a different perspective about what a member of law enforcement does and the impact he has on the school.
We are that informal counselor. I've had kids come sit in my office, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And they talk for 45 minutes, you know, and they're telling me about what's going on, and you know, you have that informal counseling part, and you're blown away by what these kids have to say.
He says the initial feedback and results of the Too Good for Drugs program has been positive to this point, and he hopes to see even further success as younger students grow with the program. Russ Thomas, MTN News, Missoula.
Havre is the only other school system to implement the Too Good for Drugs program. That school has seen similar success.